Hello, welcome everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, welcome.
Yes.
I'm Tyler Monistel from the Nigerian Center. I'm the new project manager here. I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. So just before this presentation starts, I want to run through what you guys should expect from today's presentation. So today's presenter will be Kodwo Ewusi from Phoebe Law. He's an immigration law expert, and he'll be talking about what has changed since the last administration. Before we move on to the speaker, we will have a short presentation from our founder, Benga Ogunjimi, and he will speak. And then there will be a room for questions and answers throughout. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them in the chat. And lastly, we would just like to notify you guys that this is a recorded conversation. So if you feel uncomfortable being recorded, you are free to leave now. And so thank you everyone for coming. And I would like to start by giving the podium to Benga.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming once again. My name is Benga Ogunjimi, and I'm the founder of Nigerian Center. Nigerian Center is a very new organization, and we are so excited to kick off our series with our immigration rights workshop. Tyler, thank you so much for that introduction and for starting us strong. So thank you everyone for coming once again. So today we are going to be hearing from Kodwo Ewusi, Phoebe Law. And Phoebe Law is one of the partners of the Nigerian Center providing immigration support services to our clients. And it's going to be talking about what has changed policy-wise since the last administration. But before Kodwo comes along, I just want to do a quick overview of the Nigerian Center, particularly those who are joining us for the very first time, and tell a little bit of a background story about the center's work. So the mission of the Nigerian Center is to provide financial inclusion and social justice opportunities for members of the Nigerian American community, not just the community exclusively, but also all other communities that are immigrant communities or minority communities in the United States. We primarily have 4 areas of asset building and programs that we are starting out. And these programs are immigration support services. We know that immigration is one of the cornerstones, if not the foundations, for immigrants to pursue the American dream and journey. And oftentimes, while we celebrate the successes of the Nigerian community, oftentimes the spotlight is not on those who may still have some challenges with immigration. So we thought that is an important aspect of our program. The second aspect of our program is home ownership. We know that home ownership is a primary vehicle for financial inclusion and wealth building in the United States of America. And oftentimes it takes a while, given some barriers from financial to legal status, to even understanding the system for folks to transition from renting to owning. So we are also focusing on that as well. Our program is not just exclusive to Nigerian American, as I alluded to earlier, but it's also open to the global African diaspora. So we have identified our language classes as one of the key opportunities to foster language and cultural competency. So we are going to be offering Yoruba classes, Igbo classes, Hausa classes, and other languages as we progress through our programs. This program is open for first-generation American, members of the global African diaspora, and those who just want to align with the culture. The programs will be open to them. And lastly, one of the programs we're going to be running has to do with access to business capital and business credit. We know that majority of West African countries do not have a credit system like we have in the United States. And it takes a while for folks to come here, understand the importance of credit, particularly our culture around don't owe anyone money, pay your bills on time. Once you owe them one, don't go to bed fully sleep. So it takes a while for folks to really adjust to the American credit system. So we're going to be offering financial education series, and we are also going to be launching our own investing fund to be able to provide credit building capital at single digits and at times zero interest rate for folks who might want to build business credit, personal credit, and also get their business dream off the ground. Also, I should highlight that, as we know, for a lot of immigrants, entrepreneurship is not a luxury, it's a survival strategy. And when there is no credit, it becomes difficult in the United States. So those are one of the programs that the center is going to be running. So specific opportunities, as I mentioned, so June 1st, next week, we're going to be having home ownership workshop. If you have not yet registered for the program, please feel free to do so. If you go to nigeriancenter.org/events, you'll be able to register for this program. The theme is moving from renting to owning. We are receiving registrations for that program at this time. Please feel free to do so. Our Igbo classes is also starting in June as well. It's going to be a 10-week program intensive to be able to get access to Igbo tutoring for folks here. The programs are run virtually online, so you can access wherever you are. We are also receiving applications right now for Yoruba classes that is going to run as a 10-week program as well. And this program is open to early beginners, those who have some basic proficiency or no understanding of Yoruba language are able to start learning Yoruba language at the Nigerian Center as well. So if you go to the website on the events, you'll be able to register for this program. The language classes are paid program, but I believe we have an early bird registration going on as at today, if I'm correct, to be able to register for the classes. Sometimes in June, we are going to be opening up applications for our credit building programs. As I mentioned, that program will provide credit building loans for individuals, those with zero credit. In the United States, they're called credit invincible, who do not have a credit. There are those who have opportunities to improve their credit, will be able to have access to capital to be able to do so. We also will provide up to $250,000 in business capital for those who want to start their businesses. As I mentioned, entrepreneurship for our community is not a luxury, it's a survival strategy. So we've been working very hard behind the scene to be able to access capital for the community so we can start to close the gap of financial inclusion. Close the gap for financial inclusion. So I just want to mention a few opportunities quickly before our speaker comes up. The very first is volunteer opportunities that we have. If you want to serve as an ambassador, and pretty much what this means is that you are able to serve as an ambassador of the Nigerian Center and pretty much just letting folks know about the Nigerian Center, programs that we should be collaborating with, opportunities that we should know about, and just being an advocate for our programs. For specific internship and volunteering opportunities, please feel free to reach out. Tyler, you heard from as a volunteer as well and is serving. So members of our community, please reach out to us at nigeriancenter.org/serve for opportunities to get involved in our programs. If you would go right now, please do not close out your Zoom screen, please stay there and go to the social media pages and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I should mention on Twitter, it is Nigerian Center. It is not the Nigerian Center, but on Facebook and Instagram, it is the Nigerian Center.org. Lastly, donation opportunities. We welcome your financial support for the Nigerian Center, and we ask that you consider us a recurring nonprofit partner for your donations to be able to support our program. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Kodwo Ewusi. I don't understand he has a PowerPoint, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen so he can come up. But before he does that, 1 second, let me give him the capabilities to be able to share his PowerPoint.
Hello. Hi. Yes. Can you guys hear me clearly? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Let me just share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Well, good. So everyone hears me very, very clear. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Well, thanks to everybody for joining us today. I commend all of you for, being available today. I mean, obviously immigration is something that is very important to all of us. Okay. Foremost, let me just introduce myself very briefly. My name is Kodwo Ewusi. I'm the founder of Phoebe Law Firm. Okay. And we are an immigration law firm that, specializes in only immigration. Currently, we have 5 locations, 2 in Philadelphia, 2 in New York, 1 in Delaware, and 1 in Atlanta, Georgia. And we handle matters all over the US. Okay. And we are working with the Nigerian Immigrant Center to be able to, assist all in any immigration related matters. Okay. Now, a little bit personally about myself, I came to the US at the age of 14. At that age, I thought US was all about, French fries and video games, and I was really excited. It's the land of milk and honey. And, as many of you can probably also agree to, the immediate challenge when you come, depending on how you come, is immigration, right? So, I decided to go through law school and form an immigration law firm. So, the 14-year-olds can have their French fries and play Fortnite and not have to have the challenges that many others have to go through. Okay. This today is all about the Biden administration. Okay. And the changes he has made. This is going to be a quick overview. Okay, I'll give a 15-minute presentation. Okay, and I'll leave 15 minutes to questions and answers. It's going to be pretty prompt, and the reason why is because I actually have to catch a flight. I just represented a client here in Florida, and I have to fly back. So, okay. So in any case, Biden took office, right, beginning of last year, and one of his main agendas, okay, was to be able to show a difference, okay, between what Trump was doing with immigration and his position with immigration. Okay, Biden, like Obama, if I was to describe them, I'll say they're a lot more immigration friendly. Okay, whereas Trump, made it very clear that he wasn't. Okay, so one of his main agendas was to provide pathways to citizenship, to just to strengthen the immigrants in the U.S. Okay, Trump, on the other hand, was make America great again, hire America. So it's obviously a big difference. Okay, all right. So there are a list of different things that that you know that Biden has attempted to implement since he came into office. And the reason why I say attempted is because, if you follow immigration closely, you will realize that it's always a tug of war. Okay, there's one side that is pulling for more benefits from immigration, and then there's another side that's pulling for less benefits from immigration. So when something is passed, you will notice that at times it may be effective for maybe a month or 2 months, and then it's blocked. Okay, and the reason why is because a lawsuit has been filed against it, and a judge in federal court has placed a ban or placed a hold, a temporary hold on it. Okay, so that always happens with immigration, and it even happened with the Trump administration as well. Okay, part of the reason why there's always this tug of war also is because, for a large part, immigration is within the exclusive control, okay, of the administration that has office. Okay, they have a lot of control. Okay, so they're able to bypass certain steps that need to be taken in order to try to pass some kind of law, okay, or at least pass some form of benefit to immigrants. But once they do so, what happens is, but once they do so, what happens is, you have different states that can file a lawsuit challenging, okay? And once that lawsuit is filed, it goes to court, and then a judge will decide whether these actions, these steps that were taken were within the control of the current administration or not. Okay, so that's typically what happens. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go over some of these things, okay, that have been attempted so far. Okay, some of them stood, some of them are still in court being litigated. Okay, all right. So foremost, okay. Okay, so one of the first things Biden did is he canceled the immigrant visa ban due to COVID. Okay, and pretty much what that is that, okay, Trump initially was placing a ban because of COVID for anyone who was trying to get even a green card. Okay, an immigrant visa is pretty much a permanent residency green card. Okay, so Biden revoked that. Okay, the second thing he did was the citizenship test. Okay, when Trump was in office, he made the citizenship test much more difficult. Okay, and Biden has been able to make the test go back to how it was before Trump took office. Okay, so it's made it much easier. On a quick side note about that, one thing that we do a lot of, which one thing that my office does a lot of is we're actually able to help a lot of people who are unable to read, write, or speak English, okay, to be able to become U.S. citizens without even having to take a test. Okay, there are ways around that. A lot of people aren't aware of it, and we've been able to help so many people who can't even speak a single word of English to be able to become citizens. In fact, I'm here in Florida today. I just handled one of those cases. So, if you guys know anyone, have any relatives who have that issue, feel free to bring it up to the Nigerian Immigrant Center, and they'll put them in touch with us, and we'll be able to help. Okay, in that regard. Okay, all right. Okay, another thing. Okay, another action that was taken by Biden. Okay, and this has been one of the I'll say probably one of the most important actions that have been taken, okay, is he changed priorities of deportation, okay, and I'm going to explain that to you. Okay, so when Trump took office, okay, he pretty much, if I was to describe it, I'll say he leveled the playing field. What do I mean by that? Okay, what I mean is this, okay, with Trump, he said anyone in the U.S. who has overstayed their visa, has been arrested, okay, has convicted a violent offense, he pretty much treated all individuals the same. and pretty much they are all pretty much subject to deportation. Okay, as far as deportation enforcement, okay, Trump pretty much said that anyone who is pretty much overstayed, they're going to get deported. It doesn't matter what stage you're in, what level of person you are, from the person who's committed a murder to the person who just overstayed their visa. Once they find out about, if the government finds out about you, you're going to get placed in deportation proceedings and you're going to get deported no matter what. Okay. Whereas when Biden took over, okay, he has gone back to placing priorities on who is more likely to get deported and who isn't. Okay, so for instance, the person who has been convicted of a crime, okay, that person will be placed on a higher priority of being deportation compared to someone who just overstayed their visa. Okay, that's been a big benefit. And we've noticed that a lot, especially in the courts. Okay, in immigration court, in deportation proceedings, when I say deportation proceedings, pretty much I say people who are being deported in immigration court. Okay, so for people who haven't been arrested, okay, if there aren't any other, issues involved, and if there's some form of benefit that they're able to get in the US, we've been able to get the cases kicked out of the immigration court. Okay. And that's a much better position to be in than to be in immigration court to be deported. Okay. So with this, it's, it's been a very big help to people, especially in deportation proceedings. Okay. I know, for instance, with Trump, you could have people who are going to a marriage interview. Okay. John is going with Susan, right? Okay, Ade is going with Angelica, right? To a marriage interview, okay? And they go to the marriage interview, and in the middle of the marriage interview, there were incidents of ICE officers coming into the interview room to take Ade to deportation, to immigration detention, to begin deportation proceedings, okay? And this was happening under Trump, okay? Whereas now with Biden, I think people can rest a lot easier, okay? That it's not as aggressive, okay? The other action that Biden has done is he ended what's called MPP, migrant protection protocols, okay? And what that was with Trump, okay? So with Trump, anyone who was trying to cross the border to file for asylum, okay, say they're coming from Texas, okay, or California, and they're just trying to cross the border to file for asylum. What Trump did was he said, okay, you want to file for asylum? No problem. But you're not going to come into the US to file for asylum. You can stay in a tent outside of the US, right there at the border, and they'll set up tent courts outside there, okay? Once you get approved for asylum, that's when they will let you in, okay? And mind you, I'm pretty sure many of you heard about this, people were staying out there outside of the US for even over a year, okay, waiting to have their chance to go to court to seek asylum, okay? And as they're staying out there, they're at the mercy of, notarios, different gangs, okay? And it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good for people, okay? Biden has ended that, okay? Presently, there are many clients that we represent in New York who, they initially came, they were first put in immigration detention, but they were released into the US. And now, we're able to go through the process as normally is. Although they're in deportation proceedings, they're still in the US, and we are trying to represent them to come out, okay, to be legal. We found the asylum cases, we represented them on asylum cases. But they're in the US, they're not outside the US in the tent, waiting for their case to be called, okay? So that's definitely also been a great benefit, okay? And I'm going to speed up a little bit more. And the reason why is just because I have to catch the flight. Okay. So another major change that Biden did, and I'll give you guys chances to ask questions. Let me just go through this quickly. You guys can ask some questions, and then we'll resolve it just in the interest of time. Okay. I'm pretty sure. So if you have questions, just make notes, and then I can address some. Okay. For others who may have some more questions, what you can do is contact the Nigerian Immigrant Center, and they'll put them in touch with us. Okay, Phoebe Law Firm. Okay. Our first consultations are free. Okay, they are 10 minutes. Okay, and so we can this is the process to be able to continue the conversation. Okay. All right. So another major thing that Biden did is he stopped the immigration fee increase. Okay, just about a year ago, a year and a half ago, towards the end of Trump's policy, Trump's administration, he was planning to double a lot of the fees. Okay, for marriage-based applications that were being increased. They're supposed to be increased from 1,800 to over 3,000 citizenship applications. I mean, pretty much, look, Trump's whole agenda was to try and keep immigrants out. And he used as many avenues as possible. Okay. Increasing the fees. Okay. Creating the migrant protection protocols to keep people out. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying this is not to necessarily focus on what Trump did, but I'm bringing that to light to show the differences that Biden has made, okay, since he took office. Okay, so there were a lot of fees that were supposed to be increased, okay, and just before it was put in place, it was was stopped. Okay, so the fees remain the same; they haven't increased, and that's good. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Also, the pandemic-related bars to asylum, that stopped, right? Trump also tried to implement that as well, for, stopping people to get asylum due to the pandemic, but that was also pretty much stopped. Okay. Biden also, he continued what was called DED for Liberians. Okay. So there have been, and I'll go through this fairly quickly. There have been people from Liberia, the country, who have been able to have work permits for a very long time. Okay. And, Trump was planning to end that, but it's been reinstated. So, still have a lot of Liberians who are benefiting from that. He also extended for Liberians, just up until last December, Liberians enjoyed for a period of 2 years an opportunity to be able to get their green cards. Okay. Just if they're from Liberia and have been in the US since, I think it was since 2014, they were able to get their green cards. But not only were they able to get their green cards, but their family members were able to get their green cards. Okay, I recall I represented a Nigerian lady, okay, who had just gotten married to a Liberian gentleman. Okay, the Nigerian lady had her daughter also, and they had overstayed their visas. Okay, and just because she was married to the Liberian, okay, not only did the Liberian get his green card, the Nigerian lady and her daughter also got their green card, all in the same application and for the same interview. So that was a great day for them. I mean, 3 people at the same time were all able to get their green cards, because even the Liberian didn't have his green card. So that was a a very joyous day for them. Okay, but that ended last December anyway. So it's no longer really relevant. Okay, although there are still cases pending. Okay, so if you know anyone who has cases which are pending based on this Liberian green card and are having issues, you can feel free to reach out to us. Again, go through the Nigerian Immigrant Center, and they'll contact us, and we can assist. Okay. And, as far as the arrangement, obviously we will be able to discuss what our fees will be, once we have our free consultation. Okay. Okay. I'm sure this is common knowledge that the wall, the wall that Trump was building to keep keep immigrants out, that has been stopped. The construction that has been stopped. So that's another major thing. Okay, the Muslim ban. Okay, what it was there were about 6 or 7 countries that were targeted. Okay, by Trump to say anyone who's coming from these countries pretty much going to come from the country. And the reason why is because these countries were considered as terrorist locations, but they all just happen to be Muslim countries, right? So that has been stopped also. Okay, Daca. Well, Daca is one of those areas which is it's in the courts. Okay, Biden attempted to re-implement it. Okay, and then now some courts have filed lawsuits against it. So although it hasn't been canceled, there aren't any benefits given to people who may be able to qualify for DACA, who haven't filed any applications before. They aren't able to get it. And that's still in the courts. Okay. Yeah, there are countries that are getting TPS, and that's temporary protected status. Okay. The recent countries are Ukraine, Venezuela, Afghanistan. Okay, anyone who's from those countries and has been in the U.S. as of a certain time are able to get temporary protected status. That gives them work authorizations. Okay. Finally, and this one was recent, probably about a month ago. The Biden administration has reinstated, okay, the work authorizations for asylum to 6 months. Okay, so when someone files for asylum before Trump, when they file for asylum, they had to wait 6 months and they can apply to get their work permits. Okay, but when Trump took office, he made it 1 year. That they had to wait 1 year to get their work permits. But by the way, we had a way to be able to get around that to still keep it at 6 months. Okay, but there were some additional steps we had to take as opposed to it being automatic before. But Biden has now made it back to the 6-month period to file for the work authorization. So that's good. Okay. All right. So finally, there was, I'm pretty sure you guys heard that, once Biden took office, he had attempted to bring forward this idea which was called like a Citizenship Act, which was supposed to give a lot of people who had overstayed their visa or weren't legal in the United States a chance to become legal and eventually get their citizenship. And these were, what's listed here are some of the benefits that he was trying to bring across to immigrants. But that hasn't been passed. Okay, it's still right now. It's still in Congress. Okay, so we're still waiting for that. And as I said, I'll make this final point. Immigration is like a tug of war. Like I said the first time, you have one side which is pulling for immigration, and there's one side which is pulling against immigration. And each administration is always the same. So it's a constant changing field. One day you can hear there's this benefit available, and within a week's time you can hear it's no longer available because it's back in the courts. Okay. Our job as lawyers is to be able to pay attention to this, to help people get through the swamp. Okay, and provide you with advice on how to be able to help you and your loved ones come to the U.S. Okay, so again, anyone have, I'll look at your questions. I think at this point, I really wish I could stay longer. I'll take a few questions, but I really have to catch a flight. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and apparently it's actually a very long wait to be able to get on your flight. So
thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Kodwo. So in the interest of time, if you can please chat in your question. The first question for you, Kodwo, is what are the options for DACA recipient to gain legal status. You touched on that. If you can elaborate more. I think Cameroon also received TPS. Someone mentioned that. Please chat in your questions for Kodwo.
Okay, so again, I'll answer just a very few. I literally have about 5 minutes. Okay, so one, yes, it's correct. Cameroon did recently receive TPS. Okay, so you know, anyone who you know who's from Cameroon who's been in the country as of a certain date, let them know, and they will definitely be able to get that benefit. What are the options for DACA recipients to gain legal status? Presently, the thing is, DACA just allows people to get work authorizations. That's it. Okay. So they're able to stay here, they're able to work, they can actually travel for, they can actually apply for travel documents. Okay. But as far as legal status, as far as getting permanent residence, they're not able to. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Email and contact information. Sure. I'll place it here. Okay. And also, you can feel free, to contact the Nigerian Immigrant Center, and they will, they'll also reach out to us. They'll coordinate and get you scheduled for a consult. We represent people all over the U.S. There's no issue wherever you're located. As you can tell, as I said, I'm in Florida now. I actually live in Maryland, but at this point, I'm in Maryland about 2 days a week, just weekends, because many times I'm in New York. We opened an office in Atlanta just a week ago. And these are actual physical locations with staff, attorneys, and we're continuing to grow. Okay, so just feel free, don't hesitate. Let's see. Okay, so those are the three questions I see. I can maybe just take one more, and then I will have to go.
So while I wait for, I know Nigerian was somewhat on the ban at some point, and it was lifted. Is there any update specifically for Nigerians to be aware of?
That's actually a good question. Yeah, I mean that ban has been lifted now, right? So all I'll say is just back to normal, to file for, loved ones overseas, you can, okay. And it's just back to normal. That's all. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's give a virtual round of applause for Mr. Kodwo Ewusi, thank you so much for your generosity of time and serving us today. We really appreciate it so much. We don't want to make you to miss that flight, so we release you in greatness. So you can catch the flight.
Thank you. I'll see you. My wife and kids will thank you too. So
okay. Okay. Yeah. So everyone, so you've heard, just as Kodwo said, we do have an intake process. And what happened is once you contact us for immigration services, you are going to be assigned a case officer. And the case officer is going to get your applications to law firm like Phoebe Law and continue to provide wraparound services that you may need. As we know, based on the state you live in, has state-based benefit. In Washington, D.C., we have the Immigrant Justice Access Program and office that provides several benefits for those who are going through immigration status. So once we have your case, we are able to assess it and put you in contact with the relevant law firm. I should know also to speak with the law firm initially can go from $50 to $250. Right now, we are getting free consultations, initial free consultations to the law firm partners that we have, like Phoebe Law Firm. We also know that this might not be for you personally, but it might be loved ones or family members or those who you know. Please put them in contact with the Nigerian Center, so we'll be able to work with them accordingly. The website is nigeriancenter.org. And if you go to our immigration page, you are able to initiate an intake process to be able to do so. So let us know if you have any questions regarding immigration. If you have any questions for Nigerian Center, I can take those questions now. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let me look at the chat box. At this point, if you want to unmute yourself, you can do so.